All right, welcome back to the live stream. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Today is Thursday, January the 11th. We're here for the New York AM session, post CPI. So let's keep that in mind. Post CPI. CPI was at 8:30 this morning. We'll give everyone a few more minutes to trickle in, and then we'll get rolling and try to beat the opening bell. All right, let's go ahead and get going with our analysis this morning. Before we get started with that, I just wanted to recap the trade that we were looking at 350 yesterday, just at the last moment of the day. We got sort of an entry for a long. Several members of the group took it. I took it. I only got about maybe 10 points in this area, and then I was out over here. But you can see that normally when I take an entry from a fair value gap, I'm looking for a 1 to 2 trade. And I just wanted to see if it would actually deliver the 1 to 2. I know it was 350, so we were at the end of the day, and it was unlikely to complete. But I knew that after 1800, once it took the break, that it would finally deliver, and we could see the price did finally deliver out of the green zone. It was entered in down at around 927 level, and TP was at 962. Like I mentioned, I was able to squeeze out 10 points, and I exited just 2 or 3 minutes after I entered. But I did want to show that trade did materialize and that we can trust the 1 to 2 setup. So if we move on now, and let's go back to how we normally start our morning with the dollar. Get back to the daily chart. All right, let's see if we're still, we're still in internal range. Last Friday's candle is still holding price inside. It's not even really making a lot of progress. Right? We had a bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish. Maybe it was waiting for today's news. So we could see the continuation of a trend. It looks like we're already prior to this short consolidation. There was bullish momentum, so we could see that continue. That's something we'll need to watch out for. And if we get that, then we'll act accordingly with the indices. Let's just go down to the hour and see if there's anything we need to pay attention to in immediate time. At the close of this hour, we may have a fair value gap here that could send price higher. Let's see what else we have. We still have this long wick that hasn't been played into 50%. So we could also see price buy up to around this level, 102.9, and then maybe see it retrace back. Otherwise, yeah, it's still kind of in consolidation, so it's not really tipping his hand just yet. The 15 minutes not really giving us much either, other than there's a lot of resistance above. So far, the last candle pressed into this area and has rejected. And now we have 10 minutes before the opening bell, so this candle will close before the opening bell, and then we'll see reaction. But let's go ahead and move over to our indices. Start off with ES. Start off on the daily. All right, if we're just looking at purely our weekly strategy, or I'm sorry, our weekly bias, which was bullish, we've already today taken out yesterday's high, right? And then started to retrace from that. So that's no longer a target. If price does seek higher, we got equal highs here. That was not too far from the high that's already been achieved. So if we can eclipse today's high, we'll be running for these equal highs here, right? If we do see price retrace, there's a fair value gap to support us down at around 47.68. So we'll look and see if that happens. There's just quite a bit that can go on with the opening bell right after CPI. So I just want to make sure that we're available for all possibilities. All right, on the hourly. Okay, so it looks like we did have a sort of breaker structure here. Be interesting to see if we actually get the shift, if we continue to see price pushing downwards. But we did get the beginning stages if it wants to push downwards. And then we do have also several fair value gaps above that price can reject from while seeking lower prices. So yeah, that's definitely something we want to be aware of as we move throughout today. And I'll be bouncing back and forth and updating you on where we are and what we can expect next. So like I said, that we had the sort of breaker structure here, but it could just be a liquidity sweep. And then we see price pushing back up. And so while we see it pushing up, we have the opening bell in 5 minutes. And so that could, just aggressively push price in the opposite direction. So we do want to be aware and available. All right, moving over to Nasdaq. Obviously, Nasdaq is what I'm usually trading on. So there's a lot of items on my screen. Let me just try to get rid of some of this. All right, there we go. Okay, this can go. We've already pushed through. We have a small area here that can support price. And keep in mind, this is on the daily. Right, and just like what we saw on Nasdaq, yesterday's high of 16,981 has already been eclipsed during the London session, and so we've also seen a retracement back down into yesterday's zone, and so now we are looking to see what's next. We have a fair value gap here as well, which price is traded into the 50% level, and that's where it rejected out of. So here, what we want to do is we want to pay attention to these two levels, a low down at 890 and a high down at 1740. So that's a 150 point range, which is fairly large. And right now we're almost dead in the center. So we just want to see where price wants to move to, and then we can see where resistance and where support should be. Okay, shifting down to the hour. We saw Nasdaq take a little peak below this level, whereas we saw ES, the S&P peak just below this level for a breaker structure. However, on the Nasdaq, we see equal lows, We know how equal lows are magnets for price later on. And now we see price now pushing back towards the midnight open. So as we get the opening bell, and start moving towards 10 o'clock, we want to just monitor this and just see if we are in fact targeting these equal lows down at 894. And yeah, that'll do it for this quick little quick peek at the market and where it's been this morning, overnight, and where it could go this morning. Excuse me. Wow. All right, I'm good now. All right, so we got about 3 minutes before the opening bell, so let's get ready and yeah, let's have a good morning of trading. Good luck, everyone, and everyone so far, all of my returning subscribers. Welcome back, new guys, new ladies, anyone who has not visited the chat before or the live stream before, please introduce yourself. Let's see, we have Zach, just a good info, Anis, Berlinda, Chuck, and Young. Good morning, all. Welcome back. All right, Young. Thanks very much. I appreciate you. But yeah, if we get a good amount of likes, then it always seems like there's a new influx of traders who join us shortly afterwards. No, I didn't trade the news this morning. I did not. I was not available. I'm on not exactly the west coast of U.S., but I'm on the western portion of U.S. 2 hours behind New York time. So the news was a bit early for me. Math G, good morning. Welcome. All right, about 15 seconds, and then the opening bell is here. Okay, short term so far this hour, big move up by all commodities, big push downwards by the dollar. So we do have them moving in unison, which is good. We see price pushing up is now already pushed through the midnight open. Um, we also see it has pushed through this fair value gap, although it's retracing now. If we continue to see it push up, we want to pay attention to the 830 open and see how that holds. after 3:30 already. Awesome. Good morning, Vivian. Good morning. And we've had a retracement in the Dow for 100 points already. Not sure if any of you are trading the Dow, but that is quite a meltdown. About 8-point retracement on the S&P so far from its highs this hour. And then here on Nasdaq, we've seen a retracement of 35 points. Okay, we're starting to see some recovery for S&P as well as Nasdaq. The Dow has not recovered, and we still see the same momentum from the dollar where it's pushing lower. Very little retracement. All right, just slip down to the 5-minute just so we can see a few more candles in this time period just to see how price is really moving. All right, we're at the 8:30 open now, so we want to see how price reacts to it, whether it rejects or it finds support there, and the 8:30 open becomes similar to the midnight open, where it's not an obstacle to price. Okay, I'm just going to make sure I mark up where the targets will be if we continue higher. All right, 17,108 would be the next swing high, at least on the hourly time frame. There we go. I know it's a little far off, but I just want to make sure we had them marked up. Okay, halfway through the 5-minute candle, and we're starting to see a rejection from the 830 level. Let's see if it's merely a retest of maybe the midnight level or this fair value gap that it traded through. Regular trading hours. All right, let's take a peek. Let's see. All right, regular trading hours gives us this gap. 952. Okay. All right. Well, one thing I do like about it is the fact that this fair value gap is here sitting at the bottom. So when it comes down and retraces into this level, it can find support with the fair value gap and then trade out of it. So that looks interesting to me. Let's measure, see what type of range we're looking at. The bottom of this gap also is really close to 71%, but within the range of the 62 and the 78 of a retracement of this bullish leg. So for that reason, I also like it. It's a good level. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. Yep. So the level I mentioned this morning above us, we want to take a peek at the 50% level and see what happens when price gets there. And it went almost to the tick, a little bit, maybe 1 or 2 ticks higher. Right, so now let's see if it wants to continue higher or if that was at the moment as high as it wants to go, and now it wants to get some of these levels down here. But yeah, like here on this 5-minute, this, like I said, I like that the regular trading hours range. If it trades back through, we get down to these levels, which are optimal trade entries for retracements. Yes, that's how and that's my own personal preference. That's a good observation, Zach. So let me take this off. So when I'm measuring Fibonacci's, oops, I start at the body of the beginning, and then I go to the extreme on the other side. So yes, Zach, that's a good observation. Why I do it that way? Mainly because I saw someone do it and I couldn't explain it, and I didn't have the opportunity to ask them to explain it. And then I started back testing with Fibonacci, and then this setup just kind of made sense to me. And so, since it's familiar and it's what I'm doing all the time now, it's the way I've continued it. I do recognize that some people go wick to wick, right? In that case, a 71% would be a little bit lower. I also recognize that some people go body to body, understanding that that's really the sweet spot of the range. So it's a lot of different ways to look at it, but I really like body to wick. Yep. Yeah, you're right, Zach. For whatever reason, this style of Fibonacci, it speaks to me. So that's how I use it. But thanks for the question. All right, we are officially look like we're into a retracement now. So let me put that Fibonacci back up. Oops, we can get rid of this. Actually, not quite. I think this was a 15 minute. Yep, sure was a 15-minute. Okay, so we did get the 50%. Just make that larger so it's easier to see. Also, let me swing this over. Low is okay. So we got to the 50% level in the very upper edge of this fair value gap, which is a fair value gap on the 5-minute. But if we make this a 15-minute fair value gap, it's going to be much larger. I'm gonna take a quick peek to the lower time frame down at 1 minute just to see something. So we ran London highs earlier. Then we ran the London low and Asia low. All right, I think I can take these session highs and lows off. They've all been accomplished this morning. All right, getting right back to the new day opening gap. And the the regular trading hours, we're approaching the lower edge there. Anyone who shorted that, congratulations. Quite a trade. Right, roughly 30 points in 4 or 5 minutes. Hey, good morning, Splash. Brad, how's it going? Antonio, good morning. Oh yeah, good recommendation, Louise. Yeah, if you go to the ICT webpage on YouTube and then go and find his playlists, he has a ton of different playlists of different mentorship or different topics that he's taught. But one of them is his 2022 mentorship. It's 43 videos. Don't be overwhelmed. You don't have to watch them all immediately. The most important ones, I would say, is the first 12, really. Um, Video 2 through 12. But if you can get through video 20, you'll be good on the 2022 strategy. But if you just want to talk about fair value gaps after 1 to 2 videos, you'll have a firm understanding of what they are. Dustin, awesome, man. I was wondering if somebody caught that. Yeah, it's not really my strategy to take those kind of trades and entries. I haven't back tested them enough, and I haven't looked at how to enter them, as opposed to just like I could have entered when we were here, but that's not really an entry model for me. But I was hoping somebody would have caught it. So good job. Caveman, good morning. Welcome back. All right. So far, it looks like we have not gotten any type of retracement. Let me go back to electronic trading hours. Price is still pushing lower, still pushing lower. Let me measure where we are, if we're at like the 78 level or 83 and a half. All right, so this blue area is, I know I didn't talk about this morning, but this blue area is a breaker. Actually, I think this is the breaker we used at 350 yesterday to get that trade. Okay, Dustin. Yeah, I mean, this setup for the regular trading hours probably happens, what do you think, 4 times a week? because sometimes you'll get the opening bell to be somewhere close to where it closed the previous day, but oftentimes you'll get London and Asia to run away from the close, and then you'll have a gap to close up. All right, so let me just show you where this level came from. Anyone who was on the stream yesterday as we were closing out and we saw this this breaker form at 345, we saw breakthrough or retest, and then it took off. This was the trade many of us took who were still online at 350, 355. I kept this breaker together because I saw price in Asia trading above and London trading above. And so just wanted to see where we landed. And the 830 pushed price down, which oddly enough, it went through the breaker, but it immediately recovered back above. So I'm going to hold it here until it proves that it's no longer relevant to price. But look at where we landed just now. %80. Okay. All right, Dustin. Well, that's, wow. I need to start looking into that then. All right. So here's your pre-market low. We didn't quite sweep the high, but we did get half of the wick. So we, for the most part, balanced price up in this area. Hmm. I didn't see that. That would have been a nice long to take. It would have just been a 25 pointer. Back up to the 50% of this 15-minute. Actually, I think this 15-minute is still alive and well. Yep, hasn't been violated yet. However, if we close out the next 3 minutes without getting back up there, Now I'm just checking on the Dow, the S&P, and just looking to see how they relate to Nasdaq on the hourly chart. Looks like Nasdaq and S&P are holding hands, doing the same thing, but the Dow is trailing behind. It's not nearly as strong. Trade equal highs right here. Watch price break through. Anyone who took that trade. Ray, welcome back. Good morning. Twenty more seconds, and then it's 10 o'clock. Hmm. Yeah, this is not good price action here. $1,300 breaker. All right, Luis, let's see where you are. Okay, so essentially same area. Yep. Hmm. Okay. All right, so that trade got 24 points, not 25 points. And then took out the stop loss. Hopefully anyone who was in that trade was able to at minimum break even, but hopefully pull out some profit. Oh, you used the tail also? Okay. All right, Luis, I hear you. Yeah, I know some people use, like, let's say there's multiple candles. They'll use the full range. Others just use the most extreme candle that's closest to price. Shorted in Q from 991. Okay, so you're up in this range. And not quite yet. Not quite yet. Pre-market low is at 892. So about another 20, 25 points. Morning, CEO. Welcome back. There it is. Pre-market lows. Mate. I think Dustin, yep, you were asking for it, and there it is. All right, so now let's see how price reacts to sweeping lows here. Because if we look on the 1 minute, when we had market structure break at the news event, remember, to break structure, we needed to get up to 17,055. We never made it. We were bearish pretty much this entire leg. We would have been bullish had we eclipsed this level. But if price began to fall, we should have expected it to be bearish. On the bullish entry I attempted, or I lined up because I thought I wanted to enter. It was more or less just getting us back up to here and taking profit. Okay, we can remove this line here. Actually, we can remove this one as well. Go back to the 5 minute just so we have a better view of price. $8.53. Okay. All right, we've gone as low as 8.37 already. I have the next price point marked up at 820, which is, I think this is just probably something. Let me remove that. Don't need it any longer. So the next price point really is 801. So that would target the yesterday's low. So we took yesterday's high over the Asia session and actually more like the London session just after midnight. And now it looks like we're pushing towards the low of yesterday. We eclipsed the low of yesterday. Then I would look at, on a daily chart, I would look at 50% of the down wick from the day before that, from Tuesday. And that's in the 730 range, which is pretty far down. But go down. Yeah, definitely looks like it's going for yesterday's low. Yep. So 801.5. So about another 40 points or so. Oh man, good job, Ray. Excellent. Haha, Anna's excellent, man. That's awesome. So the 10 o'clock fair value gap. All right, so you entered here at 10:02. Awesome, awesome, man. Looking like a sweet silver bullet entry. From 956. Yeah, I was just looking at that. Um, I wasn't sure if this was going to be the breaker. So you said 956. I wasn't sure if it was that one or if it was this one here. So either way, good trade, Anis. Good job. Oh, okay. Antonio, hopefully it didn't hurt you too bad. 48.26. Okay. I take it you're on ES. Let me just 48.26. Oh, okay. Awesome. Okay. Well, if you're trading futures and you're using the same values that I have, 48.26 and where it is right now, that's a stellar trade, caveman. Good job. Yeah, I haven't always been this way, and I'm sure I've told this story already. But yeah, being in this session with you guys, it also helps me. I'm normally calm, but I do have FOMO sometimes, and I do occasionally take a market execution, which is not a good idea when trading at all, ever. And that's generally based on FOMO. And so just trying to be more disciplined and also trying to be I guess, a good host and educator for those looking for that from me. It's it's helping me out too quite a bit. So thank you guys. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for um, the participation and yeah, just keeping me motivated and keeping me disciplined. And I'll do the same for you. So we hold each other accountable. Short. All right. Let's see then. Okay, let me just check in and see where we are with everything else. All right, we had a dollar make a new high of the day this hour. At the same time, all the indices made lows, so that's good that they're all moving together. Yep, really nothing more to say about the confluence between indices and the dollar. Things are moving as they should and as we expect, which is also why we had such fluid price action here. All right, let's just kind of step out and see where we are. Okay, we fell into a 5-minute fair value gap from yesterday at 10 o'clock. So about a 24 hours later, we're right back at the same. Matter of fact, this is where the entry that I took yesterday. Hmm. All right. All right, Luis. Hey, everyone has their own agenda and their own program that they're working on. And I'm happy for you that you're able to see that you're up this week. And it sounds like maybe you haven't been as consistent as you wanted to be. So you want to ensure that you finish the week up 400. So good job for considering that and also having the discipline to go through with it. All right, Antonio, you and Brad, good luck on your long entries. I'll be right back. I'm just going to go in and refill my coffee. 954. Okay. All right, Brad. Let's see. Okay. Jeez. Let me just move down to the lower time frame and just see if there's a different perspective. Yeah, it's my understanding you have to go back to the evaluation stage. You have to then pass again and get funded once again. So oh, you're running with three of them. All right, good job, Antonio. But you already secured one of them at 890, which is great. Oh, you got two in the bank. All right, awesome. And welcome back, John. Welcome back. Yeah, you missed quite a drop. That wasn't my trade. I think Ray and a couple others in the room was in that trade. Was able to collect pretty well on it. And now we have a couple more in the room in longs that they took at the bottom here. So yeah, you haven't missed much, but there were a few trades that possibly you could have jumped into. Oh, Samuel, I'm sorry I didn't see you in there. Good morning, welcome. Sorry, I'm just cycling back through some of the comments. Yep, caveman's in a short. Okay, I think Brad's also in a long. Brad, are you still in? Hopefully you didn't close your trade. Awesome, awesome, Brad. Let me find where Brad's target was. 954. All right, well, we're pushing towards it. You're not far away. Especially if your long was from 867. Let me just mark that up for everyone. So 954 is what you're looking for. Yep, not sure where your stop is. I'm assuming it's somewhere in this range. So, Brad, it looks like you're looking at at least a 1 to 3 trade if you get all the way to target. Up a G. Wow. Unreal, guys. You guys are killing it today. Hmm. Well, Samuel, hopefully you still have an account so we can continue on. Yeah, maybe the PM session will be better. Clearly, I wasn't seeing the market as well as I needed to this morning, so nothing was good enough for me to enter. So I have not taken a trade yet. Um, but there's been several subscribers in the room who have been, and we've been enjoying talking about their positions and what they were looking for next. We still have another hour and a half, so I want to thank everyone who's here so far, everyone who's returning. Mostly, I really do appreciate the subscribers because we're starting to, know who each other is and each other's style, and we're here every day. So I really do appreciate the subscribers who are back more on the morning sessions, the afternoon sessions. Some are doing both sessions. That's really helping out quite a bit for me and I know it's beneficial for them. But I also want to welcome all of the new people who just discovered us this morning. I want to welcome you here, and hopefully you're finding this session valuable and enjoyable for you. If you can, go ahead and hit the like button. I do this every day at about halfway through the session. I ask everyone to hit the like button so YouTube can start promoting us for the last hour and a half of our session. Hopefully we can get more traders in the room. I notice it's starting to drop off a bit, but some of that is also because the really popular traders are back in action. They've been on vacation for a couple weeks, so they're now back, and obviously they're commanding a large percentage of the traders. But I do think that we have a room here that's valuable and that others would like. So if you could hit that like button, that would help us out quite a bit. And again, I hope you're enjoying the session. Thanks for being here. All right, Brad, all the way back down to entry. Okay, Samuel, no problem. No problem. All I do in those moments is take accountability for breaking my rules, knowing that I broke my rules. And so I try not to count those in when I start looking at my win and loss percentage, or if I look at my most recent, 5 trades or so. If I feel like I'm in a losing streak, if I've been breaking my rules, I try not to take it too hard because I know that I haven't been following the instructions or doing things the right way. So don't beat yourself up too much, but definitely take accountability for not following the rules and just, get back in the saddle. Don, is it a sales setup? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. But we could have a rejection at some point, which will push price lower. But as of right now, I wouldn't say we have a sales setup. This long tool I have, one of the subscribers was talking about it's a long that he was in, and so I just put this here to show what trade he had already set up. He got in over here maybe 20 minutes ago, and so I just align what trade he had, and then we're just looking at it to see how it turns out. But this is a long tool, but this is someone else's trade. This is not mine. Hey, interesting enough, we got almost to 50%. We missed it by a tick or two. So I want to see if price is going to run back up and at least get into premium prices um, before it decides if it's going to break lower or continue. Yep, right at 50%. Okay. Right. Yeah, it's got a bunch of likes now. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your support. Oh yeah, no problem. Are you talking about the market structure from Stoic TA? If that's the one, then yeah, no problem. It's like when I saw his video, I saw it. I was already 2 years into trading, and it was just a good refresher to me because market structure is usually one of the first things you learn, and then you move on, and you really never think about it anymore. So for me, it was a great refresher, and it helps me to not get lost in price action sometimes. To then refer back to those early beginning lessons and just kind of reground myself to figure out where we are. Okay, 15 minutes. Oh yeah, to the tick. You're right. In fact, let me put it on the big screen. Yep, right here to the tick. Still have 3 minutes left on that 15-minute candle, so we'll see where it closes. uh, all right, Mr. Samuel. No, you didn't miss anything. I'm not currently in a trade. Some of our subscribers are. You'll see them in the chat talking about whether they're short or long and where their entry position was. But I'm currently not in a trade. The last trade that was set up was one of our subscribers was talking about a long from this area, and he was able during this one candle to take it up pretty far. But otherwise, right now, there is no entry. Hmm. Sure. Sure, sure, sure. All right. Yes, let me just try to find a good example of having a breaker. I know there's this one here, but I don't see that this one provided an entry. Oops. All right, tell you what, let's just go back to the one we did yesterday. I'll walk you through both of these. This was the one we took at the end of the day. Right. You can do a breaker with one candle. I prefer to have at least two consecutive candles. So in this case, as price was breaking down, right? When you see it make a low, a new low, and then you see a swing high taken out, when this broke up, then you want to look and see, did you have consecutive up close candles just before price made a new low? And if you did, that becomes your breaker, right? So it's going to be these two candles. Right. And so the way that you identify it is as we are charging down. So we had this candle here make a new low. So we had a low. Then we moved up. So we had a high. Then we moved down and had a lower low, which is normal. So this is what you expect when price is trending. However, we had a higher high. That you normally don't have. So as you see price breaking down, you don't see highs being taken until right here when it broke through. So once you saw that high taken and you drew your breaker, now a retest into the breaker becomes a long setup. And that's what we had on these two consecutive candles right here. Actually, let me remove this so it's easier to see. Yep, so we had these two retracements back into the zone, and then that's where we took the long from. Keep in mind, I also mentioned we want to see it happen during a macro period. So we wanted the last 10 minutes of the previous hour or the first 10 minutes of the next hour. Okay. So in this case, where we had market structure shift, where we had price break structure, was during this time period. It happened right here on this candle at 355. So the fact that we had a market structure shift during the macro and we had a breaker, we felt comfortable taking that position. Right. And on top of that, in fact, I missed the breaker setup yesterday. I saw the market structure shift and then I saw the fair value gap. And that's the entry I took. I saw the breaker after the fact, after I was already in the trade. And had I seen the breaker with the fair value gap here, this is a setup where you want to take an extra contract. You want to leverage up on this. Right. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we had the exact same thing at 10 o'clock yesterday morning. Yep. We sure did. Yep. So we had structure. We had a new low put in, which then made this the key high to be swept for a shift in market structure. New low right here. New high there. Right. So low, high, lower low, higher high. Okay. Shift this over. And then this candle right here at 10:09, trade back into it. And once again, this market structure shift happens at 10:08, which just so happened to be in the 20-minute macro period. And another thing that I missed, check this out. Fair value gap inside. Again, leverage up, take the long. All right, caveman. Glad you got that now. All right, let's get back to where price is now. Samuel, you could buy now on the 1 minute. It's completely up to you what you want to do. All right, I don't like that there's no consecutive candles here, so let me look and see if we can find one, a breaker somewhere. All right, let's go below the 1 minute. Let's go to 30-second and see. Here we go. Okay. Tap in right here. The difference in this one is when the market structure shift took place. Right. We wanted to see the market structure shift here. Well, we didn't. We saw the market structure shift over here. So that would give me less confidence in this setup. I'm not saying that it won't work, but it didn't occur in the time frame that we want to see it. Okay. If you want more info on that strategy, I found that from a guy on YouTube by the name of Hydra. And he talks a lot about trading out of macros, and that's one of the strategies he uses. Okay, not sure exactly what Topstep has going on, but thanks, Dustin. No, I don't normally use the 15. I have before. I prefer the 30, uh, especially when I'm scalping because the 30 gives me just a little bit more time to enter my my limit order because those take a little bit of time. In 15 seconds, it just there's a new candle, every time you turn around. So I try to do 30, but I have used 15 before. Yeah, Dustin, it looks like they're going to have several of these throughout the day, and you have to fill them all out in order to get it. Oh, wow. Mm. Yeah, I've seen those quite often, Brad, where I had a sizable victory and I let it come all the way back on me. And those are tough. Those are tough to deal with because you're kind of stuck between, okay, next time, because you're always thinking about next time. Next time, do I just take profit? And then if it runs on you, then you feel like you missed out on something. You left something on the table. Um, that's one of the reasons why I like to just do my sort of stock trades 1 to 2 or have some other kind of formula that tells me when to get out as opposed to always seeking liquidity. Um, it's because I find sometimes price, it will go to the liquidity I'm looking for, just not when I'm looking for it. Um, and so I just rather take some profit, step to the sideline, and if it runs on me, just look for the next setup. But no, Brad, that was an excellent trade you put on. Um, sorry, I wasn't able to get to the top. Same Different caption. Yeah. Yeah, Luis, and also try to focus on one setup per session. I think that may also help as well. All right, here we go again. Let's see if we can get some sort of market structure shift here during this time period. And if so, we'll look for an entry. We can remove this one now. Get back up to the minute at least in a minute. And I'm looking to see if price can run this high within the next 3 minutes or probably next 6 minutes or so. Mm. 841. Okay. And potentially we'll have a new low soon. And if we can get a new low, then we will shift from 871 down to 860 or 859. There we go. $30. Let's see how this candle closes off for us. Likely not going to see a market structure shift during this macro period. Can't see it moving 20 points in 30 seconds. 836. Yeah, we'll see. Where is that coming from? Okay, yesterday morning. Yeah. Yep, we'll see if it holds. Okay, everyone, 11:15. We got about 45 minutes left to go in our session today. And yeah, we're still pushing for lower prices. Let me check up on the dollar and see where it is in relationship to our indices. Okay, everything still appears to be synced up. We have the indices all pushing for, well, S&P has already this hour made its new morning low. We also have a new morning low from Nasdaq this hour. Um, Dow, however, is still trying to achieve its morning low. It achieved it last hour. And so it's still pushing though. It's not too far away, but it's trailing behind S&P and Nasdaq. The dollar, on the other hand, it's so far buying up this hour. Pretty far away from last hour's highs, but it's trending in that direction. So I would say all of our indices and the dollar are, for the most part, linked up and not presenting any issues for price action right now. Yep. So here's your 1 hour down on the lower left hand corner at these two levels marked up, with the lower one being the extreme of yesterday. So that's yesterday's low. That is that we are really close to eclipsing now. Once we eclipse yesterday's low, like I mentioned, next target, if we continue lower, will likely be on the daily, 50% of the wick, which is down around 729. So about another 70 points below. All right, so we did eclipse the low of yesterday. Let me just remove some of these lines. Okay, so the level we just passed, the 801, that was yesterday's low. The level I just marked up, 657, that's the day before. So this will be Tuesday's low. Rainmaker, as of right now, I can't say for sure, but it does look like we're headed in that direction. All right. So we've reached a key level, which would have been a previous day's low. And so far, there hasn't been any energetic bullish activity or anything to point us in the other direction. So clearly I think there's another pool of liquidity is looking for. Let me just try to align those up. Okay. Does that look too even? Oh, wow. Super close. All right. So these will be the next pools of liquidity on the way down. So we'll see how far price wants to go and when we start to see it push in the opposite direction. Yeah, 4 hours is definitely on. There's on the 4 hour, there's a ton of support below, as well as like a lot of bullish fair value gaps. Yeah. Yep. Now let me go down to the lower time frame and see if there's anything that we need to be aware of that happened down here. I'm not sure there is. There's a retracement here, but I wouldn't say we're bullish or anything. But it did give a 35-point move there for anyone who believed in a long from this low position. Although I'm not sure what the setup would have been, with the exception of a 4 hour fair value gap. But if I was going to go long, what I would like to see is I would like to see it make a run down, do this kind of thing, and then back up. But you want to see it sweep the lows, mainly because you want to see it create a breaker, which would be here, and then a retracing back down, and then you would look. But so far, it hasn't given any of that type of activity, so I'm not looking for that. Oh, okay. All right. So we did have a slight penetration into this fair value gap by 2 ticks. I thought they were equal highs, but no, it eclipsed it just a little bit. Um, so for shorts, it did touch into the fair value gap a bit. Mm-hmm. Yep, looks like it moved about 50% into that fair value gap. Let me just, yep, just past it, slightly past it. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if the dollar can get above 102, then you're right about that. Yeah, we're going to see all commodities dropping. See if this is what's happening. It's just going to dig a little deeper in order to go lower. So we have a 10 a.m. fair value gap. This is what Ray is talking about, this one here. And then he's saying when you break it down to a 1 minute, that large area turns into these small areas, even though at the time there was one here as well. But we had them all the way down this price leg. So as price rebuilt itself, you would have been looking for a breakaway gap here. And so this would have been where you thought price would trade into. Okay. Let's see. Okay, here's a displacement lower below this low here at 1030. Fair value gap created, trade back into it, and then out. %71 retracement there. All right, good observation and good explanation, guys. I'll look into it. I'm not sure if I can change it to so that you guys can post pictures and oh man, thank you, Ray. Awesome, man. Appreciate it. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'm able to change to where you can post links and photos and all those things, but I will definitely look into that. All right. Ray just gave me a bonus, man. That's amazing. Thank you very much. Yeah, I know. I know. Well, good news is at least I can block people out. So if we get trolls in here who start throwing up links to things that they like, I can kick them out. Oh, 77 people. I lost track of how many people we had in our room. Sweet. Yes, we do. We're building. We're building up. Yeah, as of right now, as far as the way the monetary things from YouTube is going, with the amount of members we have and amount of people joining the live streams every day, um, monetization is extremely low. I'm earning about $1 an hour, it seems. So it's essentially free for me to be here. So thank you very much, Ray. That that means a lot. All right, Luis, I'll keep it the way that it is. I like the way this rolls as well. I'll try to keep my same demeanor, make sure that the atmosphere here stays calm so we can all be in our best mind frame for trading. And yeah, let's just continue to build. If you have friends who trade, invite them to the channel, see if they like it as well. All right, looks like price has pretty much stalled the last 20 minutes. Guess I'll raise it to a higher time frame just so we can see more. But right now, yeah, not a lot happening. Let me take a peek and see if the others are doing the same. Yep, same for S&P. Yep, same for the Dow. And now the dollar. Yeah, the dollar's been doing it for a little bit longer, but yeah, it seems like all entity, or I'm sorry, all indices as well as the dollar. Taking a little break right now, getting ready for the lunch, I guess. Okay, good job, Zach. Way to battle back. Got it. All right, guys. So what Ray is saying is that if we somehow remain in this level and just chop sideways, that he's still bearish for the PM session. So unless we make an energetic move and we ended up somewhere up here and we start shifting the market structure, then he's going to remain biased to the downside. If he said even like a slow, like stair step like situation like this, right? We start getting something like this, then all you end up with is trend line liquidity. And after it builds up enough and has enough of these lows, then you see the market do one of these numbers and sweep all the lows at once. So there's a trend line about to be broken. What is it? Is it this one? Or are we more or less looking at this one? There we go. That's probably better. More like it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, down here at 657 is quite interesting. This mark right here could be an interesting liquidity pool because you do have relative equal lows on the 1 hour time frame. Let's see, Antonio, you said from what date? So if we're talking about when I just said 733. Oh no, I'm sorry. I did this one. 657. 657 is from Tuesday at 8 a.m. on the 1 hour. Luis, consequent encroachment of the 4 hour fair value gap. That level is the top end of another fair value gap, but on the weekly time frame, right around 754. Yep. Hey, looks like the trend line is holding up pretty good. Let me remove some of this. Not so much on the screen for us. Next level at 733. All right, Luis, is this the area you were looking for? Consequent encroachment of the 4-hour fair value gap? Slide back up, get a different perspective here. Sorry. There we go. Sweet. It's macro time. You're right about that. Good call, Luis. Way to highlight consequent encroachment of a fair value gap on a higher time frame. You see how responsive that level was. And as I mentioned, that's also the overlap of the very upper edge of a bullish fair value gap on the weekly chart. So a fair value gap is even stronger. And we were in that fair value gap pretty much all month. That's where we've been trading, and we finally traded above. And last week, in fact, we traded into it, traded all the way to the lower extreme. This week, we traded above it, and now we just came to retest it. So we'll see if it this afternoon, if it wants to trade back into that weekly busy. But for right now, it's showing a strong reaction after retesting that level. Yep, there is your breaker. Absolutely. Yep, majority, I'd say probably 75, excuse me, 75 to 80% of my teaching has come from ICT. Mm-hmm. That's the one. Yeah. See what type of reaction we get here. Back, you know what? This should be a breakaway gap. So if we get below here, I'd like to exit. All right. No go there. Okay, this happens sometimes. I hate it when it does that. Step back in. Oops. Actually, we can get rid of it. It's already traded and closed below. And get rid of this line as well. Breaker seems to not be holding. And for now, yeah, that's it. Okay, we can get rid of this as well. You're right, Brad. It does go fast. It's one of those. I mean, but you want it to go fast. You either want to know that you made it or you didn't. All right, there it goes. Finally, it reset. Wait a minute. Oh, I see. All right, just a couple minutes left in our session this morning. So, any final questions or comments? Go ahead and throw it in the chat so we make sure we address those before we move off. And then, just so everyone knows, anyone new to the channel, we'll take an hour break. There should be another invitation for the afternoon session. We come back at 1300, and then we carry it on. Oh, I see what you're saying. Take another one. Yeah, because I didn't take this one because I thought the stop was too large, which is why I dropped down to the 30-second to try to find a smaller stop loss. Yep. So then a 1 to 2 trade would be here. All right, let's go full limit this time. See if we can get a winning trade with stop loss in the right position. Yep. All right, everyone. So we'll come back in another hour and we'll look and see how this trade worked out for me. But for now, we're going to go ahead and then we're going to take that break. Thank you all for joining this morning. Thank you to all the new subscribers and also everyone brand new who just found me. If you go ahead and like the video, that would help YouTube out as far as recognizing that we have a good trading room here and that they should start recommending more traders come and join our room. So if you could do that for me, that would be excellent. We'll take a 60-minute break and we'll be right back. Thanks everyone for a good session this morning, and I'll see you in an hour. Cheers.